Hi, Chanta. Good to see you. How are you today? Chanta. ミャンマーの先生。フリーズしてください。Good morning, Chanta.
Morning, Professor.
2時間半ぐらいかな。How are you? Are you alright?
Yes, I'm fine. Yes.
How's the situation
No.
in your country? It's safe?
As usual, stay dangerous and no electricity.
Okay, right, okay.
Yes, yes.
Yes, okay. Please
But
take
I
care
continue
of
my work in my private.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's start. So anyway, today's talk is about restriction boundary. So for the restricted kinematic alignment, the topic of today's talk is, do we need some boundary to restriction boundary in terms of alignment or not? It is a very, very serious problem, the very hot topic in terms of kinematic alignment. Anyway, stop my video. 見えてる？はい、見えてるな。今度うまいこと言ったな。Okay. Okay, this is a summarize of the alignment option of the total knee arthroplasty. So there are two main topics, two main concepts. The one is the mechanical alignment. This is a very, very classical alignment technique, and the straight leg and perpendicular placement of the component and the equal gap inflection than the extension. So rebuild, restore this figure for all patients. If the patient have the constitutional betas and constitutional valgus alignment after the operation, all patients set at this the ideal alignment. So on the contrary, this is a kinematic alignment or more comprehensively personalized alignment that respects the patient native alignment. The alignment includes the leg alignment and component alignment, and respecting the joint line obliquity. In the mechanical alignment, or in all patients, components are implanted perpendicular to the mechanical axis. On the other hand, in the kinematic alignment, the components are set parallel to the joint line. Even if the joint line is very steep, varus or posterior slope, the true kinematic alignment follows the native alignment. So that is quite different. So alignment and leg components, leg alignment can vary among the patient. It is depend of the patient, the native leg alignment and joint line obliquity. But in the mechanical alignment, all patients set at the same alignment in terms of leg, both leg and components. Okay, you understand? Okay, this is a difference. This is a very, very different concept. But generally, the movement is shift to the personalized alignment. But now our focus is which kind of personal alignment is the best for this patient or a patient. Okay, so maybe some patients are the best for the true kinematic alignment, but some patient is best with a restricted kinematic alignment. And maybe it's a concept. So no, the type of personal alignment can be dependent on the type of component. If we use the CR, or medial pivot components, we will follow the true kinematic alignment. But if we use the CPS alignment, it must be focused on the gap balancing. So eventually, the posterior PS component will best match for the functional alignment. The aim of functional alignment is make the balance gap in all knee flexion axis, knee flexion angles, and not only the flexion and the extension, but also in the mid flexion and deep flexion using the computer devices. So using the computer devices, we can manipulate the gap balancing throughout the motion, range of motion. Anyway, so basic is caliper kinematic alignment. This is the one of the extreme case of measure technique. The measure technique means that cut the bone in the same thickness as the components. If we use the 10 millimeter thickness of tibia component, including polyethylene and metal, we only cut the 10 millimeter. That's all. But the problem is most patients or all patients have the cartilage or cartilage plus bone loss. So how to compensate for these defects? That is a problem. Anyway, so this caliper technique, both femur and tibia cut the bone in the same thickness as the components. Our femur side is relatively easy to because in the most patients, the posterior cartilage are intact. So we cut the same thickness as both posterior condyles of the femur. And the distal end of the femur, we can cut the lateral side 9 millimeter and medial side 7 millimeter. And the difference 2 millimeter is cartilage loss. But tibia side is very, very difficult because the tibia, most of tibia has not only the cartilage, but also the bone loss. There is a bone loss on the tibia side. How do we estimate the amount of bone loss? So we can compensate for the cartilage loss. It's quite easy because that is already 2 millimeter. But 2 millimeter plus bone loss, that is very difficult to estimate. Anyway, so basically the caliper kinematic alignment cut the bone, the following the posterior on the medial slope. So this is the technique to follow the patient native slope, insert the angel wing into the cutting slot of the tibia cutting guide and adjust the medial joint surface from the surface. But if we use a persona, we can penetrate the pin through this tibia cutting. Do you remember? Before the decide posterior slope, I always penetrate the gold pin through the cutting slot of the tibial cutting guide, and then adjust the inclination of extramedullary rod, and to be the parallel to the pin, to be parallel to the medial articular surface. Then, this is posterior slope adjustment is relatively easy, but difficult is medial slope. So anyway, so once decide the medial slope and cut at the first, then evaluate the gap. If the medial gap is tight, we can recut to make the tibia cut to 1 degree or 2 degrees more to recut. So in caliper kinematic alignment, cut the first, then evaluate the gap balancing. So a minor gap imbalance can be accepted, but sometimes it is too big. The difference on the medial side or lateral side is sometimes very big. So in this case, the tibia slope cut the tibia more varus to be recut and adjust, evaluate the gap again. So this is the difference from the gap balancing technique. In the gap balancing technique, evaluate the gap and decide the gap, cutting surface, respecting the gap. So as a result, after the gap balancing technique, gap can be balanced because we decide the cutting plane based on the gap to make the ideal parallel gap. We decide the cutting surface in the gap balancing technique. So gap balancing should be adjusted after the gap balancing technique. Do you understand? で、ギャップテクニックというのはギャップを合わせるように骨を切るから。その後ギャップは合ってて当然なわけ。でもキャリパーテクニックは骨の表面を見てくるから、その後ギャップが合ってるかどうかわからない時に不均衡になってるから、そういう時にはリカット、例えばちょっと内側がきつかったら内反にリカットするよという形。So in some components, that is the medical components. This is the recut technique for more 2 millimeter additional varus cut. This, but in the persona, we don't have such things. So I cut using the this ordinary cutting this in the inclined approximately 2 degrees, manually and fix again. But if we use the robot, it's quite easy to add 1 degree or 2 degrees more using the intraoperative planning. So the robot is very good to recut the bone. Anyway, this is the caliper technique. I explained many times how to do the caliper kinematic alignment. Just cut the same thickness of the component thickness, both femur side and tibia side. But unfortunately, in Japan, so many surgeons misunderstand. So gap balancing technique is considered to be the true kinematic alignment. Because most Japanese surgeons cut the tibia parallel to the femur after the femur cut. So, but this is not the true alignment, that is the gap balancing technique. Right?
リスはネズミメリス科に属する動物の総称。
No, it's a kind of soft tissue respecting approach. But so anyway, so if we cut naively to follow the articular surface, alignment is sometimes too extreme. For example, 10 degrees in varus or 12 degrees of posterior slope. So this is a very difficult question. So how to find the patient's original articular surface? It is very quite difficult, the patient with bone defect. We cannot estimate the original joint surface on the medial side. Okay, how to estimate? It's one problem. Another problem is, even if we know the patient native alignment, if the patient have the extreme alignment, for example, the 10 degrees or more constitutional varus or 10 degrees or more tibial medial slope, can we follow naively the patient native alignment or not? Well, that is our problem, our problem. But it is quite difficult to resolve. Anyway, today, this is the end of my talk today. So I will continue my talk tomorrow. Okay, see you tomorrow. see you tomorrow. How to end this one? これで終わるやな。Okay.